Florida's war on Disney escalating, and now their special privileges are in jeopardy as the Florida State Senate did vote today on a bill that would disband Disney's self-governing powers. Our correspondent Leonardo Feldman is live in Tallahassee with more. Leo.
Bob, that's right. The Florida State Senate passed a bill, their own version of Representative Randy Fine's bill, that would end all the special status districts enacted prior to 1968, including the Reedy Creek Improvement District, which is exactly where Disney World is located. So they would possibly lose their independent powers to govern themselves. Now the vote goes to the House.
So, for example, Disney has competitors that do not enjoy these same special privileges. For example, Universal. Disney has 4 theme parks. Universal has 3. Universal doesn't get to create the Jurassic Park Improvement District to govern itself.
And critics claim that if the repeal is approved, Disney's $2 billion bond debt would be paid for, and Osceola and Orange County residents would have to pay $2,200 each in taxes.
Well, look, these are the same folks that don't seem to be able to balance the budget, so they're not all that good at math. Remember, we had to get rid of a bunch of the textbooks that they thought they should teach critical race theory instead of mathematics. They are wrong. None of the debt today is held by Disney, so we are transferring zero debt from Disney to any taxpayer whatsoever. It's a factually inaccurate statement. These people need to get a little bit smarter.
And the House is expected to vote on this bill tomorrow, and Fine is certain that it will pass. Bob?
All right, Leo, thank you very much. Joining us now to discuss one of the Florida state senators who voted to dismantle Disney's self-governing status, a Republican state senator, Manny Diaz. Senator, tell me your thought process here and what you're trying to accomplish with Disney. Is it a message, or is it truly to take away its special status, which it kind of is a self-governing entity there in Central Florida? And correct me if I'm wrong on that.
It is, and they received that before 1968, and that had to do with the fact that there was over 25,000 acres, which they were trying to plan out at the time. They were given the special privilege, and it is the legislature's purview to give that privilege and also to review it, and that's what we're doing. This is really a 12-month out sunset, which we're giving the opportunity for the legislature to review all special districts before 1968. Governments have changed. That the Orlando area has changed tremendously, and the governments and jurisdictions that exist there have the capacity maybe to take over some of the functions. So we're taking a deep look at that, and if 12 months nothing changes, it would be out.
What kind of money does it make because of this deal that it has with Reedy Creek, with that development district? And what kind of taxes does it avoid as well?
Well, it's a fairly complex situation, and they don't pay taxes to the counties or the city municipalities in the area, which have changed over the years. But they do have self-governance. They have their own fire department, power plants, their own police force. Everything is self-contained. The most important thing is that they're able to approve their own permits without going through the counties, the 2 counties that the property spans, or the municipalities. So that would change. But there's also more complicated mathematics to do when you're talking about debt service and those kind of things. That would have to be looked at. That's why we're giving ourselves a 12-month window to look at all those things and make sure that what is done is proper and it doesn't cost taxpayers money.
So when you say a review, so there's 12 months to review. Let's say we're 12 months from now. What happens 12 months from now?
Well, 12 months from now, if no action is taken, it sunsets. This is giving the opportunity to the legislature that's coming in the fall and in the spring to take a full look at this and look at those numbers and look at the mechanics of how, because maybe you don't need to sunset it. Maybe it could be adjusted, or maybe it can be changed. But I think it is a responsibility and the purview of the legislature to take a look at those special districts. And in this case, as Representative Fine mentioned, there are other theme parks in the state who don't have this special privilege. And it really should be an even playing field for everybody.
And just so I understand, when you say it sunsets, you're not talking about the Reedy Creek thing. You're saying this particular law would sunset. In other words, it would kind of go away with no action done. Correct?
No, actually,
Yeah, that's a big deal if that happens.
It is a big deal, and I think it's, again, I think it's the job of the legislature to look at these things. It hasn't been looked at since before 1968, and so that area has changed tremendously, and there is capacity in the jurisdictions. We just have to make sure it's the right fit.
Okay, now Florida State Representative Spencer Roach, a pioneer of dismantling Disney's self-governing powers, says Disney's special privileges violate the free market. Here's what he said.
And let me tell you what else Disney's doing. So they're expanding out of their traditional role of sort of theme park amusement. They're now building a $400 million movie studio there. They're building a fourth Disney hotel. They're building a $300 million office space. And they don't have to apply with any of the regulatory burdens that any other realtor, business developer, or builder would have to comply to. They have an enormous advantage over the rest of the market. It's unfair. It's anti-free market. It's anti-economic liberty. And it's wrong.
You know, Manny, this all has come about because Disney's kind of become a political operative now, right? I mean, this is about the politics.
Well, look, this is highlighted because of the fact that Disney stuck their head out and has decided to enter not just the politics. It sounds like they want to be almost a legislative arm of private entities and decide that they're going to repeal or try to repeal or go to court on acts of the legislature that don't affect their business whatsoever. The bill that we passed affects instruction in K through third grade, and it really doesn't affect Disney. And so for them to get involved in this kind of thing has brought attention to them, and it's highlighted these special districts and special privileges that they have as a corporation.
Yeah. Does this affect anybody else, like Universal Studios? I don't know whether those fall under the same.
It does not. They don't have special districts. There are other special districts in the state from before 1968, but in those cases, they're mosquito control districts and water districts and those type of things. So that's why we have to take a long look and make sure that if those are no longer necessary, that they can be absorbed by the local government. And if they need to remain in place, we can adjust.
And I'm sure it is going to be a question, but is the average taxpayer or real estate holder in Florida going to end up having to pay more if this Disney government entity goes away?
Well, that's why we have 12 months to do it, because we have to dig into the numbers and make sure whatever action is taken going forward, if adjusted, doesn't cost the taxpayers anything.
Right, because you know that's where you're going to have some people saying, hold on. State Senator Manny Diaz, thank you so much.
Thank you.